Hi everybody, this is Black Runner Ranger. Here I am doing yet another commentary on my Skylanders animations. We're focusing on yet another series of animations I did which relate to one topic. For this occasion, it's basically some Skylanders SuperChargers animations that I did which unfortunately relate to something to one of the few reasons why I consider 2015 my least favorite year of my entire life. I made a gigantic journal about that in case you're wondering on DeviantArt. Link is in the description. But let you but even if these were meant to cheer me up a little bit, they were made at very, very sad times. For example, SC Races. It was basically my attempt to do a Skylanders SuperChargers parody of the Wacky Races. Here is Spitfire over there, and here's the thing, and now here we are. So what I did try to do is try and copy almost exactly what the Wacky Races intro was like. I included at least 11 vehicles from Skylanders SuperChargers. I tended to choose one in each element. And for those that are not normally on land, and I gave them wheels, like you can see here, the Reef Ripper and the Splatter Slasher, the Sun Runner, the Sea Shadow, the Sky Slicer, and the Buzzwing. They all got wheels, even though they don't normally have wheels. Now this was done by Creative Liberties because back then because here's a funny thing. I was working on this in my grandmother's house when I had to rush towards her house because my grandaunt was very ill. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. This was not the first cancer she had. She had other types of cancers. She had breast cancer, and she even survived tongue cancer, but ovarian cancer, that was the nail to the coffin, literally. And also some of the other vehicles, they were a bit difficult for me to draw. Like it was difficult for me to understand what the burn cycle was like. And I had trouble understanding the Crypt Crusher, and the keep in mind I didn't use a drawing pad at the time. I had to use a mouse. And when I was in my grandmother's house to animate, it was not comfortable to animate stuff. Even the Double Dare Trigger Happy's Gold Rusher was a bit had too much detail. So I had to work with whatever I could and take some creative liberties. And also, there were only nine land vehicles. The eight, two from fire, two from undead, two from fire, two from undead, two from earth, and two from tech. And actually, 3 from tech if you're counting the guest appearance of Donkey Kong. And I felt like it was kind of unfair that they would exclude. I would exclude the light, the life, the water, the magic, the air, and the dark. So, like I said, creative liberties can sometimes get you somewhere. And also, I added in subtitles because I worry that somebody may not understand what I'm saying. And by the way, let's see who's who in the background. A lot of people say this is where I predicted Spyro appearing in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Even though Spyro can also race in Skylanders SuperChargers and SuperChargers Racing. He just doesn't have a SIG vehicle, but you can have him ride the Hot Streak. And heck, you can even have him as a racer in the Game Boy Advance version of Crash Nitro Kart. Anyways, speaking of Crash, here he is. And over there is Lyra Heartstrings from My Little Pony, Winnie the Pooh, Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants, Shockwave from Transformers G1, Michelangelo from the 1987 Ninja Turtles, the Cookie Monster. There's Fear from Inside Out, Timmy Turner from Fairly OddParents, Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, Dexter from Dexter's Lab, Double D from Ed, Edd and Eddy, Gumball from The Amazing World of Gumball, Arnold from Hey Arnold, Samurai Jack, Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, Beast Boy from, of course, Teen Titans Go. I apologize. Chowder, Phineas from Phineas and Ferb, Billy from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Invader Zim, Jake from Adventure Time, Darkwing Duck, Mordecai from Regular Show, Anger from Inside Out, Gary from SpongeBob, and Fred Burger from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. There's also there's Homer Simpson, Batman from Batman the Animated Series, Homer from The Simpsons, and Optimus Prime from the Transformers. That's about everybody. And first is the hot streak driven by Spitfire. And some of them, also, I added in some of the Skylanders in different vehicles, mainly to help represent them, like parodying the Wacky Races characters. For example, Spitfire in the hot streak is supposed to represent Peter Perfect in the Turbo Terrific. Trilipede and Smash Hit in the Buzzwing is supposed to represent Rupus Roughcut and Sawtooth in the Buzzwagon. And Trigger Happy and Trigger Happy and Terrafin in the Sharpshooter is supposed to represent the Sergeant and Private something. I've forgotten their names. They were in the Army Surplus Special. It's the and then there's the trolls from Skylanders Trap Team. There's two of the Shrednot trolls. There's Trolling Thunder, Bruiser Cruiser, and there was one more Smokescreen out of their signature vehicles and into the Shield Striker, alongside the Lobgoblin, Chill Bill, and Professor Nilbog, aka Threat Pack. They represent the Ant Hill Mob and the Bulletproof Bomb. And there's Gil Grunt in the Reef Ripper, representing Pat Pending in his Professor Pat Pending in his converter car. And here's Splat in the Sparrow Splasher, representing Penelope Pitstop in the Pussycat car. And there's the Eyeball and Dive Clop in the Sunrunner. They're representing the Slag Brothers, Rock and Gravel. Sorry if I use the word slag if you're from the UK. I deeply apologize. It was basically a staple name for me thanks to Transformers with the Triceratops, although nowadays he's named Slug. I wonder what his voice actor would say about that, since his voice actor is actually British in the original G1 cartoon. The Sunrunner with the Eye Brothers. Now, people telling me they're not brothers. They're twins. Isn't that kind of the same? Isn't a twin also means a sibling in a way? And then there's a Grave Clobber and Masquerade in the She Shadow. It's like the creepy coot with the gruesome twosome. And then there's Jetvac on the air in Stormblade's vehicle, the Sky Slicer. The jet stream was a bit difficult for me to draw, so I had to have Jetvac in the Sky Slicer. Right, he's supposed to represent the Red Max in the Crimson... Is it Crimson Hay Barrier or Airborne or something like that? I've forgotten that one's name. And then there's Fright Rider and Ozzy in the Tomb Buggy. That's supposed to be the Chugabug with Lazy Luke and Blubber Bear. And of course, Chaos and Glumshanks representing Dick Dastardly and Muttley. In the Doomjet representing the was it the Doom Machine? The Mean Machine, I think. And what's his plan? To summon a giant monster to attack the others guys. And they're off! to a standing start. And why not? They'll be blocked by a monster summoned by Chaos, who gets attacked by that creature. And away they go, on the way out, SC Races. And funny enough, on Newgrounds, this actually managed to win a trophy. I think it was 4th or 5th place, but I did manage to win a trophy for making this animation. Newgrounds. And when was I rewarded on... What date was I awarded that trophy? On the day my great-grandaunt passed away. Very sad. Now here's another animation that's related to the subject. This one I made was called 2 Spitfires in a Traffic Jam. It was originally supposed to be fully made, and I was supposed to have it as a full-fledged animation. And it was basically made because when my mom's broken leg, I think we were kind of trapped in the house. We couldn't go to the mall too much, and we were supposed to go to England in October 2015 because I heard my favorite singer, Weird Al Yankovic, was actually performing in the UK at the time. It was his second tour in the UK, believe it or not. His first one was in London in 2010. But I couldn't go there because it was too cold, even though I did live in England at the time. But in 2015, we were supposed to go there, but my mom broke her leg, so we couldn't go. We were kind of quarantined for a bit, and then when my grandmother's sister passed away, we had to be there for my grandmother because of for her birthday. So basically, I made this. This was supposed to be made to cope with the fact that I'm kind of trapped in the house. But over time, I kind of got a bit bored while making it, so I decided to end it abruptly. But if you want... So, let's see what it's like there. 2 Spitfires in a traffic jam. This is also a response to the fact that there are actually 2 characters named Spitfire, one from Skylanders and another from My Little Pony. In fact, there's a lot of characters in My Little Pony in Skylanders who share the same name as those from My Little Pony and Transformers, believe it or not. Now there's a Skylander villain named Bombshell, and there's an Insecticon also named Bombshell. There's a dark dragon named Blackout. There's a Decepticon helicopter also named Blackout. There's a Skylander SuperCharger named Spitfire. There's also a pony character, also named Spitfire, one of the Wonderbolts. And there's also, believe it or not, there's a character named Wildfire, one from Skylanders who's a Trap Master Lion, and there's one that's a pony, a Pegasus, and she's based on one of the storyboard artists named Sabrina. I think her name was Sabrina Abrighetti or something like that, something that spells like spaghetti. Who's not only one of the storyboard artists for My Little Pony, but she's also one of the storyboard artists for Red Ed and Eddie. And she also did some comic book work on Darkwing Duck. But she also, believe it or not, when she was on DeviantArt, she faved one of my drawings of her character, her My Little Pony character, Wildfire, dressing up as Wildfire. And currently, she's a storyboard artist and animation director for the Chibi Tiny Tales shorts and Chibiverse, where you have characters like Luz Noceda and Amity Blight, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, the Big City Greens characters, all chibified in a House of Mouse style show. Now, the latest they've released so far was one where Amity and Luz, Star Butterfly and Marco Diaz, and Haley Banks and Scott are in a dating show. And that's one of my favorites. Also, one thing I noticed over here is that Skylanders starring 2 Spitfires, some SuperChargers and My Little Pony, and a few characters and big-lipped alligator moments. This is basically just some random stuff I was going to throw in like something that doesn't really relate to the driving, just to make things interesting. Also, what do we have over here? We got Lightning McQueen. We got Terrafin in the Shark Tank. We got Optimus Prime. We got Spitfire and Spitfire in the hot streak, and we got High Volt in the shield striker. Oh, by the way, I have Spitfire driving on the other side on the wheel, like how the British drive. Sorry about that. Carbon dioxide. She's choking on it. ACIOU. The news has reported an error on this radio. There's Patrick in his driver suit and on his boat, based on the SpongeBob episode "Driven to Tears." There's Wreck-It Ralph in that truck, based on his guest appearance in Sonic All-Star Transformed, as well as Disney Infinity. Batman in a mini Batmobile, and the Speed Buggy. Waited since his entire life. It's all in cobwebs. And inside his head are the Inside Out characters. I'm right here. Sat right here in the middle of this. And afterwards, that was about it. Was supposed to... Now that I have the game and some of the figures, I have no purpose to make this video. That's about it. The rest of it is just credits and stuff. And in fact, I was going to include a scene where I had the My Little Pony characters doing some rock and roll little band thing, but that really didn't go anywhere either. And here's one more commentary I'm going to do relating to this topic, since it was also made during the passing of my relative. So over here, I made this little animation of Trigger Happy looking at the sunset with the grass. And Spiral's like, what's so glum, chum? A relative of mine passed away. Oh, I'm so sorry, Trig. Something about now this is he said he gets a bit of inheritance, but it gets a bit of a tax afterwards, like 99% of the tax. But then he gets a ride from a little butterfly. And then when he looks down, the butterfly goes in. It's not the wormy thing. And he smiles. He's like, my relative has come to visit. Now this is based on a common legend that butterflies are basically people, loved ones, deceased loved ones visiting their relatives. And since butterflies don't live very long, they say their souls are carried on to another soul. It makes us believe that a relative of ours is visiting us with the butterfly carrying its soul. And there's a bird with the sound wave consent, and a rhinoceros. I know I probably should have done a little bit better with the grass. I probably should have tried just redrawing it, and a little bit in slow motion too. And the song I chose was "On Top of the World" by the Carpenters. It was one of my relatives' favorite. That is a lot that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Again, 2015 was such a depressing year for me. And these animations I did, they're basically bittersweet, let's say. Thank you for joining me. I hope my next commentary would be a lot more happier. Hope you've enjoyed this video.